Hey everyone. Sorry, I literally ran through the door. How's everyone? Okay. Let's see. Let me make sure. Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about everything logged out. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to send this to Brandie. Brandie is busy today, but I want her to at least have the link if she, I don't know if she's free or not, so I'm going to send it just in case. So, okay. So I sent it to her. Brandie, I know for a fact, or I know Brandie's busy. I'm not going to be on here long, but this is not the right book. Oh my gosh. I just got this book yesterday. But that's not the right book. So, it's right on my desk. Seraph in the Suwanee. It is this pretty big chunker for a Zora Neale Hurston book. This book. First of all, can we talk about Zora? And I guess it's just the air, the time. Okay, problematic. Okay, like, so in the afterwards, they talk about how Zora, this is her most ambitious book. There isn't even a ebook for this. No idea why. Maybe. Okay, there's not even an ebook for this. It is all physical. There's not an audio for it. You either buy the paperback or you don't have it at all. But in the afterwards, it talks about how this is Zora's most ambitious book. Part of that, I think, is because this book, we're following a main character named Arve. And Arve is a kid at the time. She is experiencing seizures, and back then they thought, to provide some type of sugary medicine and put a spoon in the mouth so they don't choke on their tongue. That was the belief, right? And I think people still believe that. My daughter's neurologist told me, don't ever put nothing in her mouth. Don't put a spoon in her mouth. And I'm like, do people still do that? No, they don't. Hold on. Oh my gosh, not this hat lighting up. But okay. Anything? Do you need anything? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so we are following a main character named Arve, and she is experiencing seizures, and she meets a guy named Jim. She doesn't want to get married, right? Like, she does not want to get married. She's experiencing these seizures, so like, she also thinks like, who's gonna want me? I'm just a small town girl, and yeah, let's see. I highlighted a few things. So she experienced her first seizure in front of Jim, and she could tell that, she was going to have one. And so it says that she sprawled out on the sofa in a grip of a spasm. And this is his first time experiencing it. So he ends up putting the sugary medicine in her eye and then afterwards apologizes and like confesses his love for her and how he's going to marry her and whatnot. And so it says, oh my God, Mr. Jim, she's liable to be done, bit her tongue in two before I get any more fix for her. Hold her for me, tight as you can, please. Now, what was this published? The 40s? So we know that times were different, right? Medicine science has evolved. 1948, it was published. And so at that time, like her biggest thing that she thought was going to prevent her from being married, it actually, like, he experienced it, he saw it, he even hurt her eye and put the medicine in her eye. So she was like, okay, he wants me, I'm gonna go. And he had a job, but they married and they moved into this like shack, this temporary home, and then he ended up finding I love the fact that my nails kind of go with the book. That's so cute. But I love the fact that he was just like, this is temporary, we're gonna find something. He starts working on a field, and I think from my understanding, they're harvesting fruit, and he is making so much money. But with fruit and vegetables, of course, all of that is seasonal, and so he can only work in the fall through spring, I believe, until the summer. He convinces the owner, like, hey, let me pull the weeds and, like, prepare the soil and all of these things. And so I thought you'd hold on. Okay, so he, instead of just having a seasonal job, he gets an all year round job because he convinces the owner that he is going to, work the fields, and it becomes prosperous, and he's making so much money the following season because they're a lot more effective because of all of the maintenance that he did before. And he convinces the guys that he's working with, his team, to just motivate them, and they're doing amazing, right? So they get a really big bonus. Then he takes his money and he buys like 5 acres of land. He then negotiates and gets a house built for her. He shows her the land, and she's terrified of like this swamp. And she's like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to do this. Anyways, they build the house. And we also see not only Jim and Arve evolve from very young couples. I believe she was like 17 or something. But they evolve from very young couples to even their homes and their marriage and stuff like that. Everything evolves in this book. So that's why I think they said this is her most ambitious, because usually you follow a character a few years. You're not following their family too. That's what I love about this. So Jim builds the house. The house is just a pure basic house, she becomes pregnant with her first, which is what's his name? Earl? Yeah, Earl. Let's see. So Earl, she becomes pregnant with Earl, and she has Earl, their first kid. And, everything's settling. She still feels like lonely and taken advantage of, and not really. She feels loved, but she doesn't feel. I don't know how throughout the book, you can really sense she has some bitterness towards, because Jim is evolving, Jim is growing, Jim has this, the money, and he's doing all of these things, and he's going out with his friends, and you feel like she's bitter towards him because she just does not have the life that he has. But so they have Earl, and then after that they have Angeline. Ooh, excuse me. After they have Angeline, which is their first daughter, Jim becomes obsessed with the baby. Like he, full on daddy girl, right? Like the baby, every time the baby hears his voice, he wants to run to her and be with the dad as much as possible. And Arve is like, no, she needs to obey me. She needs to listen to me. And then she she ends up getting pregnant with the third one. And when she tells Jim that she's pregnant with another baby, Jim is like, it better be a boy, or so help me God, right? So her whole pregnancy, she's like terrified. What if it's not a boy? And she says, like, I can't control that. Like, what do you want me to do if it's not a boy? And he was like, don't bring it up in here, right? And like, what you want me to do with it? Like, it's our baby. And so she has the baby, and it is a boy. So she was terrified that whole pregnancy. And you can see how scared she was. Okay. But you can see how terrified she is. Alec, there's that bag right there. Switch out your bands for your thing. Or you want to keep the blue one for your watch? Hold on. Okay. Sorry, guys. Alec just got home after being gone a week and trial and error. Okay. Anyways, so she has the baby, and the baby's name is Kenny. So she has Earl, Angeline, Kenny. They end up evolving the land that Jim bought because he does have the 5 acres. So he ends up building another home, renting it out to someone else. And then from there, she ends up evolving the house as well. Like the house now has electric. The house now has, just upgraded appliances and all of these things. You could really tell that he put a lot into the house, and she is living a life of luxury compared to other people. He is really, even though his communication is so poor, even though sorry. Woo, I'm tired. Even though his communication is so poor, he's really doing for the family. And you see that towards the end of the book as well, that his mouth has her feeling so bitter and so angry, but he really is providing. He really is taking his money and filtering it into the house, making sure that he's giving her everything that she needs. She can go to the market and buy, fabric to make dresses with no care in the world, right? And so Earl gets older, and he's a teenager, and he starts acting like a plum fool. Like, they're talking about psych wards, right? Putting the child in a psych ward, and the mom is like, I'm not having it. Like, the moment you move these Mexicans in, which is why I gave this book such a low rating, or I'm going to give this book such a low rating. Trying to find it. Because of the biases towards Black people. These characters are not Black. So Zora wrote a whole story about some white folks, right? And so this is one of the few paragraphs that really ticked me off. Ooh, excuse me. And right here in these United States, a Bible land, a praying in the gospel country, where 2 naked hussy heathens trying to pass themselves off as folks, white folks at that, and doing their level best to toll her son off from her. They were no different from that awful Hordanas and her daughter Solom, and who had John the Baptist killed for nothing. They had they had been put in Bible. What? Can do this. They had been put in the Bible to warn people, to warn folks against just such sluts as Felicia and her mama, Babylonian females with no God in their hearts and no weapons against evil in their hands. What? This, her logic of thinking of how she feels about Black people and Hispanic people were utterly disgusting. After this, which is page 242, I checked out. No lie. And this goes all the way to 352. So almost 100, well, over 100 pages, 110 pages. That, you know, she said things before about Black people and people of color, but within the book, earlier in the book. But after that, nah. I was just like, I don't care whatever happens. I almost DNF'd it because it was it bothered me so bad, and I absolutely hated it. Let me see. I absolutely hated it. It was hard for me to sit there and listen to. You don't need two of them. What color did you want? Did you want the rose gold or the black? That one. Okay, let me take it off. Okay. Okay. Sorry. But so there were some people who look like Mexicans who moved in and moved into the second property that Jim was renting out to someone else. And she thought, well, her son Earl, who started acting a plum fool, like it was their fault, right? Like he was perfectly fine until these people came, right? And so because of that, she was like, get them out of here. Like, I don't want them near our family. I don't want them here. Just get them out. They don't need to be here because now my son is starting to act crazy. And so, sorry. Oh, gosh, I got too much going on. And so she then takes Earl to her mom's house. Alec, please stop. No, I need... Oh, sorry, I can't do noise right now. Anyways, so she takes Earl to who they're like trying to hunt down Earl. Like he needs to be hospitalized. He's crazy. Get him away from the kids. You know, he needs to be in a sane asylum. You know, I'm going to press charges on him because he hurt my baby type of thing. Anyway, so she takes him to her mom's house, and she travels there. The mom is older, and she is so worried about this boy. He lived there for like 6 months, and she went and got him and brought him back. After she brought him back, they experienced something later on after like a month or two where he somewhat attacks another girl who lives at the other property. And he starts making noise, and like, you know, they really need to hospitalize him, but they wanted to press charges at that point. And Earl he's older, he's like 18. So he had a gun, and then he shot someone and they shot him. And so she ended up losing her first child. So after that, you know, like I said, I had already checked out on the book because the mom was judging the Latino family or Latinx family, and like, who are you? Like, And then she made a comment about Black people, and I was like, yeah, no. Absolutely not. But yeah. So she loses her first kid, she buries him, and then her daughter Angeline wants to finally start dating. She's older, she's 17. You know, by this time, by 16, 17 years old, they're getting married. And she was like, I am tired of acting like a child. Like, stop treating me like a child. She found the one she wanted to be with. The one that she wants to be with is like this New York Yankee. They keep calling him a Yankee. And he's smart. He's a smart kid. He has lots of money. You know, he could provide for her and whatnot. And so he proves that to the dad. And the dad, like, was like, hey, go ahead. Y'all can date. But mom is like, no, this is my baby. She don't get to be with you. Da, da, da. She was just acting very petty, which I would too. Like, I don't want my daughter getting married young. I don't know how I feel about that. But so they run off, go get married, and come back. And she's like, I'm a married woman now. Da, da, da. Her mom was like, there's nothing I can do about it now. So whatever. But she was really upset that her child went and got married. And so next was Kenny. Kenny was the youngest boy. Kenny was known for being a bully, which, again, white privilege, like I had already checked out by this time, right? And so Kenny went off to college. So, excuse me. So the mom didn't have anyone. And then Kenny wanted to play music. He was known for music. He was known for bullying and music. And he left for college to, learn music and whatnot. But then he ended up getting like this deal to go play. And he took it. He called his dad, and he was like, Dad, I'm leaving. I'm about to go travel. I got a deal, a contract. He's getting like a bunch of money per week. And so he leaves college. He drops out. So then something happens to Jim. Jim picks up a snake. Jim thinks he's big and bad, right? So he picks up a snake, and he is like about to, he's showing his wife, like, I can take on the snake. Well, the snake is long, so it wraps itself around him. And the neighbor has to come help him because she's just standing there looking like a fool, not helping her husband. And I mean, I don't know. He was trying to put it in a bucket and whatnot. And yeah, he ended up getting hurt. So that was Jim's last straw. Jim was like, I've done everything. Like, you have a house, you have a telephone, like you have all of these things. We have electric. You are living the fancy luxury life. And when she went to go drop off her son, Earl, she realized, I have so much. I have so much to be grateful for. I have so much, privilege. Like, oh my God. There's no electricity. Like, there's the running water is scarce, and a well, and all of these things. Like, we have fresh fruit and a whole garden that we tend to, and you never want for anything. And so yeah, so Jim was like, I've done everything to make sure that I provided you the best possible life. That was my last straw. You were going to let that snake sit here. You were going to just sit there and let that snake kill me, and I was going to die, and you were going to take it all from me. You didn't care about me, but he has went above and beyond. Whatever you want, say less. You want to go see your mom? Here goes $200. You want to go travel? Here goes some money. I'll take care of the kids. And she, even though she felt bitter and angry towards him for the life that he had and that she did not have, she had a privileged life where she didn't want for anything, and that she was really taken care of. So yeah. So then he leaves her. He's like, that's it. I'm leaving you tomorrow. Everything's planned out. I'm tired of the way you treated, our kids, not letting them be adults. I'm tired of you not seeing the warning signs with Earl when I tried to tell you, you didn't want to listen. I've done for you for all these years. And she was like, what am I supposed to do? And he was like, I will send you money every week. The house is yours. The land is yours. I'm leaving. And he does. And she, after like a month, she contemplates to move back with her mom, even though, she doesn't want that life anymore, because she has a luxury house compared to what she grew up with. And so, or just access and things that she has in her home, her mom doesn't have. And so she doesn't want to go back to that. But her mom gets sick, and the mom is so smart. I swear, that's the one thing that I loved about this book, is like the elderly. Okay. The mom on her deathbed was like, these kids are trying to take everything that I have, and I don't want them to have anything. And she's hiding things underneath her pillow because she's scared. She's scared, like, every time Arve sends money to her mom, her siblings, Arve's siblings, like, takes all her money. They really take advantage of, this elderly woman, their mother. And so she's like hiding things in her pillow, and she doesn't want people to have the house. She wants to give it to Arve, and when Arve's like, I don't know what to do with this. Like, I will, plan your funeral. You'll have an amazing funeral. I'll take care of everything. Don't worry about it. And next thing you know, like, her mom was just waiting on her, and she starts to relax. She starts to, go to sleep, and she passes away. And so Arve at that point, has the funeral and whatnot. I like I said, I've already checked out, because the bigotry in this book was just trash. And so I didn't care what was happening to this woman. Her husband left her, and mom died, dad died, her older son died. So she's dealing with a lot of grief. I just did not care for her, and what she felt, because that's on you, boo. You shouldn't be a bad person. Like, you just shouldn't. And so, yeah. Her husband gets a boat at some point. I don't know. I know when he left her, he went south to like Florida. So it all makes sense. He's big ballin'. He has money and things like that. So I'm not surprised. But I will say I understand where in the author's note where they say this is Zora Neale Hurston's most ambitious book, because you follow Arve as a teenager till where her kids are teenagers. It's not just two characters that you're following. We also get to see the kids and their personality and their behaviors and different things like that. And so I gave it a 2-star. I wish, not that I should, maybe not. But books like this, or authors like this, should at least have an ebook. I will say that. Like, at least have an ebook, because I don't want to carry this around all day. Like, now that I have a Kindle, I don't want to. But I understand why this is probably her least talked about book, because there's no ebook. Like, you don't even have an ebook. So again, lack of access, right? And not everybody wants a physical paperback. So plus it's big and chunky, and you're dealing with white characters, which set the stage for her next couple of books. But I guess Zora wrote 2 white couples who fell in love, had some kids, lived a long, happy life until it wasn't happy anymore. That's what this book was. Like I said, I gave it 2 stars, but yeah, that is it. Next live discussion will be on Brandie's channel. Let me see if I have the schedule. I don't think I do. Somewhere. I have so many schedules. Nope. Okay. Well, it's going to be on her channel next month. Don't ask me what we're reading because I have no idea. Yeah. This book was, I was just glad to be done with it. I binged it and read it in less than 24 hours. Do not recommend doing that. But after page 274, I checked out. It reminded me too much of, and this was published in the 40s. So for this to still remind me of evangelical logic of thinking today, how prevalent that still is, makes me even more mad. So that's not on Zora, because this was, during her time, right? Like, but it's the logic of thinking of this character just kind of ticked me off, and it's still present today. So, but that is it. Like I said, the next discussion for Zora will be on Brandie's channel. And yeah, I will see y'all later. I will be having the live discussion on for Dawn by Octavia E. Butler later on today. So hopefully I will see everyone there. Have a good one, guys. Bye.